Couldn't find him.
He's there. Oh, I smell him now. He smells like perfume. Come on.
I think he's in the wind.
Do you see him? Where are they?
I think talking about
Where are they?
Kind of a moth, and he's gonna.
Oh, there they are.
Ceropia moth.
Aren't they pretty?
Look at him. Can he come out?
My word.
Can he come out?
I'm not going to take him out because he makes my hands, oh, look, he got me already. It makes my hands smell funny, and the other insects might not like it, so I'm going to leave him or her in there. Wow. Yeah, they don't like to be out in the light, so he's like, I'm getting out of here. Hot, yes. Hot and dry. And that's not good for animals. Animals have to figure out how to live in the desert and keep water in their bodies. So he has this little, he sweats out stuff to help keep the water in. And that's what makes him blue. If he doesn't have to worry about water, he's black. But when he has to worry about staying moist inside, he's blue because of the stuff that he puts on his body. Can you see how pretty the markings on his shell and his wing covers his real wings? So these earrings that I'm wearing, those are the covers from some beetle, and underneath that hard heart are wings that are just like a fly wing. They're usually clear, and they're folded up underneath there, so they pull up those elytron, they pull up those covers, and let out the wings, fly away. Guys like that don't fly.
Can I get a picture of that bug?
Shall we say bye-bye? See you later. What do you see? What would you call that? Is it a mouse? Is it? They say Europe, but they live in yeah. You see him in his antennae. He's like, what's wrong? These guys live in Maine.
A
Ground beetle. Yep, I find these in my garden. They're not hard to find. No. I think they eat detritus, dead stuff. Let's see if I can turn it over and we'll look at his underside. See, they've got segments on their abdomens, pieces there. Yeah, he didn't like that. And that's another one that has a, no, that's not me. You gotta look for somebody with gray hair.
Yeah, it is.
Why is it not moving?
It's a spider.
Why is it not moving?
I don't know.
Yeah, how come we can't touch it?
I'm not going to touch it.
We can't touch it?
No.
I don't want the last
What goes in here?
all the two bugs, one of the characteristics that you can see on this, there's a picture. See the triangle in the back where these two cross?
I don't want to find it.
All the two bugs have.
Those aren't alive. Those are
All of
skeletons.
them, the stink bugs, the assassins, they all have that. So that's, it is a true bug. Yes, it is a true bug. It's real and true. And then this one, the mantis, this is a ghost mantis, and you can see why they call it that. If you put it on a dead leaf, it's gone. It blends in. This is a female, and she's already laid Pikas, they're called, the egg sac. That's long. There's probably 20 or 30 things in it. It's young. And then the Australian pine right there. And then this guy. This is a Gigantea, one of the bigger ones. But these are interesting because these go through parthenogenesis. So they all female. They've never found a male of this species. So you can imagine, I mean, if you look, they protect themselves like this. And so they fold up like a stick, and you'd never find them, right? I mean, they drop down under the core and blend in. And so if you're looking for a mate, good luck, you know, you're never going to find anybody. So it turns out they found a way, and basically what you're doing is creating a clone of yourself. So all the eggs are clones. And it, you know, it's got advantages.
So there's no genetic variability?
Not much. You know, I mean, it's enough. And so if this thing gets...
Yeah, a lot of insects make some kind of like antifreeze, like a thing that we put in our trailers and that. Yeah.
Oh, look.
So this is the adult moth, and this is the biggest moth that we have in North America, all of the United States. That's our biggest moth. Put your hand up there. How big is that? Is it bigger than your hand or is it smaller than your hand? You want to put your hand right there and let me know? No, you don't want to do that? Is it bigger than your hand? Oh, it's about the same size as your hand. Wow. And that's just half the moth, you see, right? Because he'll open up his wings. They're really big. Now I'm calling him him. It's a boy. Do you know why? Hang on a sec. Am I on your way? Or you got a question? I just don't know what to do. Should I move out of your way or what? So, do you know why I'm calling this a boy? So the boys have the antenna that looks like
Don't push her.
chemicals for pheromones, and the boys are like, oh, where the girls? So they have to have these really big antennae. Okay, what's up? This is a moth, like a butterfly, right? And so this is what the adult butterfly comes in. This is a cocoon, and inside the cocoon is, do you know what the P word is that you find inside of a cocoon? Well, the caterpillar becomes a pupa. They go from egg to caterpillar to pupa to adult, the adult moth. Okay? So this is the pupa inside of his cocoon. Look, there he is. You see his face? Yeah, that's the face of the adult that's going to come out in a little bit.
Wait. Is this guy just going to come out right here?
No, he's got a little ways to go. But these guys, if you look at these painted ladings, these also are butterflies that we have in Maine. See up on top? Those are their cases. Those are their cocoons.
Come and look at this.
And they came out not too long ago.
Beetle right there?
Well, they're just tired because they're like, what the heck's going on? I should be outside. Look at this tunnel curled up.
It's called a hornworm.
See, they're just meditating. They don't know what to do. They're one of the biggest caterpillars you have ever seen. It looks like peanut butter, doesn't it? Oh, gosh, would you like to find that in your peanut butter? You want to hold it? Want to put it in your hand?
Oh my word.
These are tomato hornworms, and if you get those on your tomato plants in your garden, oh, they will eat everything overnight.
Oh dear, don't let it loose.
All of a sudden, the next morning, you go, oh my gosh, what happened to my plants? All the leaves are gone. Yeah.
Wow, that doesn't even look real. It looks like Play-Doh.
Yeah, and they have the little suckers on their feet, so they hang on.
Oh my goodness.
If somebody were holding you and they went like that with you, what would happen? You'd fall down, wouldn't you? Look at this guy, just hangs on.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that cool?
Look at this.
So this is a caterpillar for a big moth.
Look at this
All
out
right, let's go see what's over there.
Looks like he was just like
Watch out, we got hands. Hangs on really tight. Look at all those spines on his legs. And you see how he's dented in my finger right there? He's got really gripping with his toe. So these are beetles. We actually have these beetles in the United States. They don't live in Maine, but if you've ever been to New York, you might be able to find one of these guys in New York. Yeah? Yeah? You might find one of those if you dig. This guy's got to let go. Yeah, he's like really hanging on. He's like really hanging on.
Why do you
He doesn't know what's going on. He's
end up like that?
So the boys have those really big horns on them. Fight with them. Let's see, what do we got here?
Hey, how's it going?
There's a larva from this one. So this is the, not caterpillar, but the growth. He's kind of hard to find. So it looks like he's, see him in there anywhere?
So it's about halfway through. It'll take another day, and that one will come out.
So it just sits like on the ground or on a leaf or whatever?
Leaf usually, yeah.
So what happens like in a house? When they're all in the house all
Like mine.
But it's not a poisonous scorpion. And there's a cricket in here for him to eat. You see this scorpion? This is called a, what's that, a whip scorpion?
Is that his mom?
No, it's not. That's an adult. That's the mom over there. This is a different kind of scorpion.
What does that eat?
It eats the cricket.
Why?
Because it's hungry. Why do you eat cow? Why do you eat pig?
Give that to him. Give that to him.
Well, it's been in there, and he'll eat it when he wants to eat it. But what happens is these things right here, these like antenna, they sweep the cricket in front of it, and then these claws reach out and grab it.
Is that a tarantula?
It's a scorpion.
No way, yeah, look at that.
I hope it doesn't stay.
No, it doesn't, or I wouldn't be touching it.
Why are you touching it?
Why not?
Why can't I open it?
Well, that's so little, it'll get away too easily. Whereas this guy won't get away too easily. He's pretty big.
That's what's lying.
Yeah.
What's in here?
That is also, just a second, let me put this lid back on. That's another kind of scorpion. It's called a, right there. He's hiding. He's like between these flat spots. He's a really flat scorpion. We can't, but you're not going to see it. Now, let's see. Spider. I might be able to pull it out.
Wow, no, I see two.
Probably not. There's probably two. There. Oh, see him? There he is. Yeah, he is. He's squished. That's his regular shape. That's the shape of his body.
I see them.
Yeah.
Right there.
On this? Or is it on the ground? Huh. I believe you. I don't see it though. I'm going to put this guy back in.
That sounds really scary at first. They were there feeding her. Oh no, she was like, oh, her had just taken the roaches from Dad's, and at first she was like, ew, and then I'm like, oh yeah, they feed them.
Lots of protein.
Oh, you could have some.
Tarantulas and stuff, eat them. And you know what's great about them? Crickets, when you put crickets in with lizards and stuff, they bite. And they can actually bite the skin of a lizard and hurt it. But the cockroaches don't do that. So cockroaches are safe. And I've had crickets actually kill a couple of my insects. So, you know, you gotta be careful with crickets. Cockroaches and crickets, I don't know if you've raised crickets before, but they stink. And they get bigger than this. I had one once that was size of a grapefruit. But see the protection, right? You see the hairs on the legs? See the hairs on the legs? You see the hairs on the legs? You can feel them if you want. It's up to you. Yeah, it looks a little bit like a strawberry, doesn't it? But those hairs, it tastes with those hairs. You ever see crabs at the beach going like this with their legs sticking in the dirt? They're tasting the dirt, looking for food. And then they eat in a mouth that's over here. But I don't think it shook them out. But these things breathe through gill water, right? That's a shed skin.
This is also a
That's just moss.
So we have a male and a female cockroach here, and he said I can take out the male. How about that, huh? That's called an assassin bug. Very carefully right there. Because I don't want him to break.
Looks like it is.
No, you need to stay right here.
Well, you guys are close. So. I wanted to welcome you to our April Vacation Science on Screen. I'm really happy with how many of you turned out on this rainy day. I hope you had fun. Otherwise, you'd be sitting in the house probably climbing the walls, right? So.
I want to go fun.
I'd like to introduce John Wallace, who you all probably met out in the lobby. He's the one who brought all these wonderful insects and creatures to tell you about, and he's going to talk
I'm going fun.
now. But I just wanted to do a little intro. John was a teacher in middle school,
What do you have for the camera?
teacher for 32 years in Meriden, Connecticut, and then retired up to Durham, Maine, where his grandchildren live. And, but he still lives a very busy life.
Watch right here.
The first time I met John was not, it had nothing to do with insects. He was here at the gem, wanting to go up on our rooftop to look for micrometeorites. So that's another one of his hobbies. So.
Which we did find.
Yeah.
We're the only ones in Maine have ever found. So. Go Jim.
What was really interesting this week, because I'm a former high school chemistry teacher, and so I sometimes see things pop up, and I got this email this week saying that it was Chemists Celebrate Earth Week, and the theme was the buzz about bugs. And I thought it was really amazing that you timed it so well for you to do exactly what the theme of Earth Week was, because it is Earth Week. So I think I will hand it over to John, and he will tell you more about the bugs, and then there'll be time for questions, and we have another microphone so kids can come down and ask their questions.
There you go. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. So I'm going to go through a quick thing, just to review what you actually saw, in case you didn't read the tag. So the arthropod group is pretty important. And the word arthropod, I want everybody to say that word, arthropod. Okay, arthropod. Arthropod means jointed leg, and every one of their joints is an elbow joint. Okay? So if you ever get challenged by a giant, or, car-sized tarantula or something, all you have to do is a hula. They can't do it. No way. You win. Guaranteed. So they have jointed appendages. They are, without doubt, the most successful animal ever. They've been around for at least 550, probably 600 million years. We have fossils. The one that's out there is about 550 million years old. I have one at home that's closer to 600. So the first thing that showed up were worm-like things, the soft-biting things, and then boom, arthropods. So they're also the most diverse animals on Earth. If you pick up an animal of any kind, there's a 25% chance it's a beetle. That's how many there are. So it's amazing. These things are like phenomenal in their diversity. Okay. So they have jointed appendages. They're segmented. You saw that, especially with like millipedes. They have distinct heads with compound eyes a lot of times. And compound eyes, hopefully everybody got a chance to look in that little pink thing that had the multiple facets in it. So they can see hundreds and hundreds of little miniature images projected into their brain which they compose. And they're great for movement. If you ever get one of those things, move your hand in front of you. You can't see clearly because we're not used to seeing like that. But if you move your hand, it's like, whoa! It's very startling, and they can detect that very quickly. They have exoskeletons. That's why they're so strong. Ants can pick up 50 times their weight. That's like me going out and lifting a tractor-trailer truck over my head. That's not going to happen, but
That's how they see that.
they breathe through holes
See
in their
that
body.
on the screen?
Their abdomen. So it would
That's
be
where
like
that
me
picture
breathing through
comes
here and eating here, which is a great adaptation if you've ever been to the family picnic and somebody's eating a hot dog and forgot to chew. It's like, oh. We can choke to death, they never can. Okay? And they have an open circulatory system. We have veins and arteries and all this stuff. They have 7 or 8 hearts. usually, sometimes a bit fewer, but there's no arteries or anything, it's just fluid. So if you poke an insect and they start bleeding, they could bleed out and die. That's a bad thing, but it's a characteristic. They have joints, we talked about that. Segments, you can see all the segments here. Over in this, centipede, scorpion, every one of these things has segments.
I don't like
Head,
bugs.
abdomen, thorax.
I'm not like what I
Alright, and exoskeletons, like I said, make them very strong because they have muscle attachments that can attach to the exoskeleton. And you may have seen movies where a human being is inside an exoskeleton. It's like a robot thing, and they're going over and they're picking up gigantic things. It's that kind of thing, okay? And the cool thing is they can molt, but they can also regenerate a lost leg. So you might have seen the large green stick insect. It lost a leg. One of the other stick insects in there thought it was a branch and started
Am I in there?
and she dropped it. So,
Can you take a picture of me in there? Take a picture of me. Take a picture of me.
You are on the movie.
Like that.
Take a picture of me.
You're in the movies.
Huh?
They breathe through these
I'm in the
openings
movie.
here on the side.
That goes in there.
And they can
It
go
will.
inside. And because of
That
that,
does?
you will never ever see an insect. That's part of the reason. You'll never see an
Why
insect
not
inside
in
of
the
a car.
movie?
Okay? So those movies where you have a tarantula the size of a Volkswagen coming up over the hill, it's impossible. If you
How come I
scale up
can't see
a
myself?
tarantula to be as big as a car, it would break its legs from the weight. So it can't happen. You don't have to worry. The biggest insect right now on Earth, the heaviest one is an insect I have at home. It's a stick insect. It's about this big and this wide, and they weigh about 25 grams, which doesn't sound like much. That's 25 dimes.
Twinkie, twinkie,
It's
twinkie.
pretty heavy, but that's the heaviest insect
just
in the world.
loosened.
The biggest insect is a beetle I used to breed. It's the Goliath beetle, and it might be this big. That's the biggest. So they're not gigantic, you never get.
You're in the
Back in
movies.
fossil times, we did
You're
have
gonna be on
millipedes that were
TV.
6 feet long, but other than that. Right, so, the other group is the
Why do you make the
crab. And you
movies?
see they have gills. So you might have noticed the crabs and the pill bugs were right next to each other. That's because pill bugs are related. They're crustaceans, so they have gills.
Stop
And if
it.
they get too dry, they die.
Where's
They
this
can't
right
breathe.
there?
I guess you don't want to
All right,
snack.
crustaceans,
I
we
do.
talked about. You can
Then leave
see
it alone.
There's the roly polies right there. And you
Why
see
is
all
this
these things,
broken?
especially the Maine
Why
lobster
is it
there.
broken?
And so they all
Why is it
almost all have
broken?
10 legs. They're called deck lobsters. Okay, and they taste
Why is
their
it
legs.
broken?
I know I mentioned this
it's
to
all
most of you, but
like
just in
me.
case. If you ever go to the beach and you see crabs putting their legs into the dirt, they're tasting the dirt for food.
Yeah.
And I always picture myself putting my plate, taking off my shoes and putting my foot in. Oh, that tastes so good. Not quite the same. Anyways, millipedes, centipedes. The millipedes are the good guys.
No, that's a
These guys,
funny.
they have
that's a
4
funny
legs per
bug.
segment, and
That's
they
a
are
funny bug,
generally
right?
Yes,
vegetarian.
yes, it is.
They don't
It's
bite
funny.
very much.
It's next to
Centipedes,
good
though,
and it's
have 2 legs per segment. Oh, and these guys are slow moving. They don't move fast. If you see something fast moving with lots of legs, it's usually a centipede. These guys here are in houses, and I usually say don't bother them because they're eating small critters like cockroaches and things that might get into your house. So that's good. But you don't want to pick them up. They can bite.
why?
Okay? Because they bite and they can hurt. They have a little tiny bit of venom, but these ones, some
Now
of
you
them
know
have
why.
a lot of venom. That one can take people out. But they're called medically significant venom. But this one, very little. It's still a pretty good thing to have in your house, just if you have young kids or really strange little animals or something, you don't want it in there because it'll get bit. Okay, arachnids, some of our
What
favorite
the
animals.
heck?
So,
That's a lot of spiders.
you know, these guys, they're ticks.
No.
Yep. My dog's getting these now, so be on the lookout. The cephalothorax, so the head and the chest are all merged into one, and they breathe through lungs that are like books, pages in a book. If you put a tarantula in a jar this big, just bigger than themselves, and come back in 3 days, they're still alive. You put me in a jar this big, just around me, and come back in 1 day, I'm long gone.
Okay.
Our lungs are terrible compared to most other animals. So just a thing there. So they're pretty cool. Here's one of the animals I brought today were these little pseudo-scorpions. I just love
The
those
orange
guys.
one.
Here's the tick chart. So you know the deer
You
tick
know it?
and the dog tick.
Ooh, I seen
We
those
do
before.
they're looking
They
now because they
have
think we may have this one. I hope we
bited
don't. But
me in
these two, it's called the long
I seen
star
one
tick. But this
out
one
right in my
is
basement.
mainly just a menace.
And then my
This
dad,
one carries
I read
lots
that
of
book
diseases, so
did in our
you gotta be on
basement.
the
We
lookout
ever
for
went
that.
over,
Lights,
walked in our
if you have
basement
plants and you see these bright
and
reddish things,
looked it in.
those things are the spider mites. So these things
Like
are in there.
spiders did it in
In
those.
that group,
And those
insects,
bugs.
the largest group of organisms, over 50% of all animals are insects. So, like I said, a quarter of them, of all animals are beetles. So, pretty amazing. And I'm going to take questions at the end, just real
What
quick.
is that?
Let me finish this up. Head, thorax, abdomen.
Fly.
So they all have 6 legs.
That's a funny
They all
fly.
have head, thorax, and abdomen.
Well, why did they
head,
have,
thorax,
why
abdomen,
did
head,
it
thorax,
have
abdomen.
big enormous eyes?
And life cycle,
To see
some of the
everything.
insects can go through metamorphosis, which means they change from something like an egg into a caterpillar-like thing, and then they pupate, and then they come out as an adult. It looks totally different. If you looked at the little ladybug, and you saw the larva's really bizarre looking. I mean, most people said, oh, I've seen those. I didn't know what that was what it was. So they turned into ladybugs. So you saw the butterfly and the caterpillar right there, and you might have seen the beetle grub, I hope, the big white beetle grub, and the beetle that it turns into is right next to it. So it's amazing how different those two things look like. And then flight, the first animals anywhere were insects to learn how to fly. That was back hundreds of millions of years ago. And it was good evolution because they could go to places other animals can't go. And social
Butterfly bee?
Yep, we got bees down here, termites and ants and other animals. What's that? Yeah, that's queens. All these are, that's a queen, that's a queen. And you can see, here's the head, and that's the abdomen. Whoa.
That's huge.
She started out about that size. Amazing. Anyway, so social insects, they have all kinds of behaviors, chemical things that they do. One of the things Sarah mentioned was the article in the workshop that's happening now with the insect senses. And I did some research on it at one point, and the sensory things that are available to insects is just incredible. If you ever had a chance to look at the things like taste and smell and sight and things like that in an insect, it's amazing what they can do. They're so amazingly developed because they have such a long history. And things like bees can actually communicate with a little dance they do in the hive. I've seen it. And, you know, the direction, they can see polarized light, so they know where the sun is even on a cloudy day. And so they can do this wagging dance, and the speed of the wag, it tells them how far away, and the direction tells them where it is, so they know where to go. And so it's pretty amazing, and these ants are laying down scent trails that they follow through the woods.
That's a lot of it.
That's a lot of ants, yes. I think they've shown that there's 6 million ants for every human on Earth. Just to give you an idea how many ants there are.
Oh, God.
All right, we're going to start with bad guys because there's not many. It's like bacteria, you know, diseases and stuff. Everybody says, oh my gosh, we got to use antibacterial things. There's only about 2 or 3% of all bacteria are bad, and most of them are good. We got bacteria in our gut. Without it, we die. You know, it's that kind of thing. Without it, termites can't eat wood. You know, so bacteria do amazing things for us. Even viruses do amazing things for us. Viruses are part of our DNA. So there are only a few bad guys. In the same with insects, we got the ever popular cockroach. There are 3 species that are bad in the United States: American, German, and I think it's Asian. You've got this one here is a head louse. Lice are known as. Okay, and here's termites eating through things. And you also have things like clothes moths and hornworms, like the one out there, is a pest. So all these things can be pests, but there are so very few. Whereas beneficial, the things insects do, how many people in here like fruits and vegetables? Yeah. If you didn't have insects, you would have to throw away 80% of the fruits and vegetables on Earth. Because without insects, you don't have those anymore. They actually lost honeybees in China for a while, and they paid people to go out and pollinate the apple trees and stuff. And they were making a profit for a while until the people said, we want more money. And then they said, well, maybe we should get bees back. You know, it's like, yeah, it's really hard work for a human to pollinate flowers one by one. But bees do it for free, you know? It's incredible. And it's not just bees. Parasitic animals, like little wasps, come along and lay eggs on bad characters out in your garden, things that are pests. There are carnivorous insects like the ladybird beetle, the ladybug, the dragonfly, silk moth for all your silks.
Nothing. Just
Here's
a
a
hand.
parasitic. Here's an assassin bug, sucking the juice out of a bad guy. And there's so many things insects do for us, and arthropods in general. So, I'm going to end here. Please don't go out and squash everybody you see. Arthropod, now you know the scientific name. Don't squash every arthropod.
Why do
We
buttons?
need them to exist, or at least to have a decent
Why do
quality of
buttons?
life. Okay?
Just
So
to
we're going to
adjust.
open it up to questions because I'm
I'm
sure
just
I didn't get
Here are
half the
some
questions you guys had. So we're going to try and get
Wait
some
a minute.
questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand and
Yeah, if you have a question, I have another microphone, and I'm just going to ask you to come down the aisle one at a time, and you can ask a question. So, you want to come?
What is so bad about that, like, the tick with the really long legs and stuff?
the one with the white spot or the one I call the deer tick? Lone Star. It's from out of state. It does carry a lot of diseases. I forget exactly. I think one of the diseases is Rocky Mountain spotted fever, but I can't remember. It's like deer ticks used to be completely harmless, but then they started part of their, they got a parasite in them that started being able to transfer that to a human host. And so we have things like, I think it's anaplasmosis, you've got Lyme disease, there's the babesiosis, I forget. There's at least one more, there's probably more. 3 or 4 diseases that are directly related. Some of them are protists, and a couple of them, and most of the rest are viruses. But, so, you know, they gather these diseases and they spread them to us. It's not the animal itself that's causing it, it's the pest that's within them. So, but you still don't want to, you don't want to go through it. I had Lyme disease, it's not fun. So, anyways, go ahead, sorry.
Do you keep all your bugs at your house, or
Yes.
do you have some type of resort where you have
My wife wants me to say she's a saint. No, most people say she's a saint, and I agree with her. She used to teach biology, so yes, I keep them in my house. Yeah, that way if there's a storm or something, I don't have to worry about it because I have to deal with them almost every day. So,
Ladybugs have spots.
They do, yes, and they have different numbers of spots, right? Some have none, and then there's some like with lots and lots of spots, right? So maybe this summer when you see a ladybug, maybe you should look and count the number of spots, because there are different kinds, right? And you can tell them by the spots.
Is it saying why?
Oh, are you saying why?
Yeah, is it,
Oh, I don't know why. I think it's to blend in. It might be camouflage. I don't know for sure. If anybody knows the answer to something I'm saying I don't know, feel free. Because I'm not an entomologist. I'm just an enthusiast.
Is there any arthropods that make good pets?
Oh, my favorite is the giant hissing cockroach. I know everybody says, oh my God, not a cockroach. But they are clean, they're day active, they're wingless, slow moving, they eat rotting vegetation, so you can just throw your scraps in there. They don't reproduce like crazy. They have really interesting behaviors and stuff like that. Just a second. They have really interesting behaviors. The males will do this little king of the hill kind of thing, and they hiss at each other. And the females do this weird thing with their egg case. They actually can pull the egg case out, turn it around, and pull it back in, and then they give birth to live young, which is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. So it's strange. They're wonderful animals, and they're, like I said, great pets. Yes. The giant hissing cockroach, Madagascar. Yeah.
I know that worms live underground.
What lives underground? I'm sorry?
I know that worms live
Worms.
underground.
Yes, they do. You're right.
What's your favorite arthropod?
Oh gosh. I really like millipedes, but I also like stick insects. So yeah. All the weirdest ones. I like those little pseudo-scorpions, believe it or not.
Why do insects have to be so bad sometimes?
Well, it's like if you look at people, right? Most people are really good people, right? But then there's a couple people that aren't so good.
Like bad guys?
Bad guys. Yeah, the bad guys, right? And so it's like with insects. Almost all insects are good guys. But then there's like a few that aren't so good. So, yeah, it's the way life is, right? Nothing's 100% good.
No hurting spiders, but I'm scared of spiders.
Spiders are great, though. They're really good. Yeah.
What's a bug's biggest enemy?
Ah, good question. It depends on the insect or bug. I do an exhibit when I go to the Maine Museum, has Bug Mania, if you've ever been. I do an exhibit on fossil insects and a few live ones, and then I have carnivorous plants. Carnivorous plants will eat insects, okay? That's their biggest thing. Ant eaters eat ants. I mean, there are so many different animals that live off them. Humans in other cultures, not America.
Nice.
It's too bad because insects are great protein.
Yeah.
They're almost pure protein and almost no fat. So if you could get over the yuck factor, they would make the ideal food. But in lots of cultures, they are great food. I mean, mopani worms and things are huge. I mean, you can make a meal. Some places they eat tarantulas. I mean, so there's lots of things that eat insects. So it's hard to tell what the worst one would be. But I'm glad you brought it up. Thank you. Somebody else? Thank you. Go ahead.
Why, if we don't have any more bugs, we have to throw away 80% of our...
Oh, yeah. If you think about how you take from a flower to a big squash or something, right? You need something to pollinate the flower, for one thing, right? And you also need insects to come along and kill off all the bad things that are happening to the plant along the way. So there are beneficial insects that kill off bad things that are happening to the plant. There are insects that pollinate flowers, and not just honeybees. There are lots of organisms that do that. Flies, bees, ants do it. Lots of insects do that. And without them, they've determined that about 70 to 80% of all the fruits and vegetables we eat have an insect in there that is essential for that thing to get to the size where we need to eat. So that's where it's coming from. Sorry, I should have explained it.
Is there anybody who wants to ask a question?
Anybody hasn't yet? Okay, come on up.
Come on up. You guys, maybe you'll make room because we just have a couple more minutes.
Yeah, we're down to 4 minutes, roughly.
Everybody ask a question, there's a question. Insects have blood.
Do insects have blood? Is that what you said? Yes, they do. But instead of being in veins and arteries, like I said, they have hearts that pump it through the body, but it's loose in the body. So it'd be like you being full of blood instead of having arteries and veins and all that. All right, it's called open circulatory system. But they have multiple hearts where they can pump it through, usually along the top of the body. Yeah, so they do. Yeah. By the way, if you ever have a tarantula or something that's bleeding out, crazy glue. A tiny drop of crazy glue seals the wound. Boom. It makes the skin stick together just like you.
Okay. So you can
Yeah. So a tiny drop of crazy glue. Yep. I saved my one of my tarantula's lives that day. Bleeding out.
So now we just have 2 more questions.
2 more questions, and then we'll wrap
We're
up.
gonna break up so that we can, or break down the sound so we can watch the
Yep.
movie.
What's the bug's biggest prey?
What's the bug's what?
Okay, good.
Prey?
Yeah.
A bug's biggest prey? Well, if you think of krill being a crustacean, which it is, a whale, a blue whale, biggest animal on earth, right?
Really?
They would suck those guys in and eat them, right?
Yeah.
And then they filter it out through their baleen. Yeah. So yeah, that'd be the biggest. Not much bigger than that.
This is the last question. Here we go.
Okay, you don't have to ask if you want to give us a turn. Okay. All right.
Last one.
Why fireflies have wings?
Ah, good. Well, during part of their life they don't, right? They're caterpillars, right? And they're like eating machines. They have this expandable bag on the end. They figure that a caterpillar starts out this big and they end up that big. That's 10,000 times bigger. And it usually happens in like 3 weeks. So they're just eating and eating and eating and eating. And then boom, they change and then they come out with wings. And the reason why they have wings is so they can go out and most butterflies look for nectar and things like that in flowers. So you need to be able to fly over to a flower and fly over to another flower. So the wings help them do that. Good one, huh? It's amazing. You're overwhelmed.
Can we give John a huge round of applause?
There's one more movie.